So, plate umpire John Eager signals the ball game to begin, and it's Australia against Chinese Taipei. And Jenny Lisle is the pitcher for Australia. And there she is, your first look at Jenny, number 9. And in the batter's box, the Chinese Taipei third base, and that's Wu Yu-jin. So that's a good beginning from Jenny Lisle. 2 strikes in the first 2 pitches. The Australian team in their first game in this tournament were impressive winners over Zimbabwe by 14-0. But I think really we have to wait up with that with the fact that Zimbabwe looked very weak. And Chinese Taipei lost their first game in the tournament. And there is inside a ball call there from umpire John Eager. Chinese Taipei lost their opening game in the tournament to the People's Republic of China, 2-0. And the first time the 2 teams have played against each other at a World Championship. Sliced off into foul territory. Weather conditions warm, but not too hot. Some of the earlier games in the tournament played in extremely hot conditions. This one being played in rather cooler temperatures. But both these teams looking for a good win here, especially the Australians who were not tested at their first time out. So a bit of pressure on Jenny Lisle now. A 2-2, 2 balls, 2 strikes against the batter Wu Yu-jin. Marshall Seifert's here watching this game again with us today.
Well, Keith, let's create a little bit of broadcasting history here. These teams are exactly even. You saw them have a warm-up. Keith Quinn, choose a winner.
Well, very hard indeed. Very hard indeed. I saw them have a warm-up. I'll go for Chinese Taipei.
Well, not unwise at all. They were in the final of the last World Series. I love the underdog, so I think, ooh, that's tough, because the Australians are products of their institute over there, which hopefully we'll have here. That's the pop fly down the right field line.
Gillian Johnson makes the out from first base, and that's the first batter down for Chinese Taipei. Here it comes.
Yep, it's a good pitch, just swings under the ball, skewers off the bat down the right field line, and an easy out. What I was saying about these Australians is that they've done a lot of training at their institute over there with all of the gadgets and the machinery and everything else. So they're all set for this thing, and they're always competitive in the World Series.
Okay, here's second base, Li Mei.
Ooh, that was a bit of a wildie. Incidentally, speaking about this team from Taipei, they won the Youth World Series, the same one that our young men had won in Fargo in the Black Hills of North Dakota just this last year. And 6 of that team are actually on this side here. And also they were in the finals of the last World Series. 2 very good sides here. Either one of these sides could end up in the top 4, but they would have to play well.
Number 4, second base, Li Mei in the batter's box. Marshall, I'd like you to have a look at the grip on the bat that Li Mei is putting in here. She's coming right up the handle, right up onto the meat. See, there's a lot of space there towards the top of the bat.
Yep. Well, she'll be after what we call banging the ball. All right, it's just a crisp hit, and I'm sure she's very fast. Good hit.
That's the first strike against her. 3 balls and a strike, you see, from John Eager, the plate umpire.
Now, the other day we were speaking about the Dutch not crowding the plate and standing back and going to the outside. Have a look at this girl. Half her body is directly over the plate, which is very risky. See, I mean, your nose isn't far off a strike. And if they decided, as we read from Steve Jackson there the other day, to be targeted by a pitcher, you'd virtually have no show.
Makes them very vulnerable on the inside, though, doesn't it, Marshall?
Well, I mean, you've got to be brave, man.
Got to be brave to stand there as Li Mei is doing, full count. And she's been walked.
That's very good, because it throws the girl off on the mound, too, to have someone crowd the plate like that. It's a little bit unnerving. Now, here we go. Good arm whip action. Incidentally, Keith, that's something worth saying, is that these Australian girls usually used to use or rely on a slingshot. They decided, look, that's old-fashioned, so they got the top 2 Kiwis to fly over to the Institute in Australia. They took all sorts of tapes and that sort of thing, so in a way, New Zealand has taught the Australians how to pitch.
Okay.
That's like sending Richard Hadley over to teach Craig McDermott a few things, which he's been doing all summer anyway, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was only a few years ago that Dev had a secret flight to Christchurch. No, I didn't mean it, Richard.
Okay, this is Yemei Show, the left field, and she's got a hit, but nicely picked up by Kelly Loughman. Got an error there.
That is one of the most unusual errors I've ever seen. That poor girl. She was given a gift throw. Let's watch this now. It's bang off the bat, exactly what you're supposed to do. Great job at second base, and she makes it easy for her baseman by just giving it a little toss right in the bread. And then it looks one of those moments like these you need Minties. She had 3 grabs at it.
Okay, send the Minties over to Gillian Johnson, number 8. Playing with a mouth guard. This is a fair bit of physical action down the first base line. And designated hitter is in.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen a mouth guard used at 1. But I'm not surprised.
Okay, number 12. These are her tournament statistics here. So she's batted well against the People's Republic of China in the first time out. The Australians are anxious about the runners on first and second.
They are rattled. They are rattled. They need some strikeouts. She needs to get this girl at the plate at the moment. Anywhere else is going to be big trouble. She's all on here, Keith. That's what you got to do, Last, especially on that inside. What it means is that if you stay on the inside against these girls, they can't get the full body weight in back of a hit because you're jamming it. But it's also a very easy bunt for them. This girl has her toes right on the inside line and leans across. It's a very brave, almost unnerving thing because the girl on the mound knows that, gee, if she decided to target her, you know, it's just that extra little thing to throw off your concentration on the mound. And as we've seen, it certainly has worked so far.
Okay, this is Lee Yueng-Shea, the designated hitter for the pitcher, the Chinese Taipei pitcher. Let's look at the count from umpire. We got 3 balls and a strike now.
Well, they can't afford to walk her here.
So obviously, Marshall, she shouldn't be pitching outside here. She's got to keep it in tight and cramped if they're up that close to the plate.
That certainly is what I do. It's a walk here is going to really put a lot of pressure on Australia because then a pass ball would score, and you don't want that in the first innings. Then again, a hit could make it 2. Yeah. Well, okay. Bases are loaded. 1 down. It is only the first innings and 2 very even sides. And believe me, the Aussies would have pumped up for this. They had a dream ride yesterday against a 4th-rate Zimbabwe side. Here comes the coach. Now, Australia play it very straight up and down. Not to put too fine a point on it, but the coach has been there for a long while, and she plays softball one way, and that's straight up and down. You're not going to get many surprises out of the Aussies, but you'll get good, solid, straight softball. So at the moment, she's just gone out there to calm everybody down, and I would say that was perfect timing for that. Saying we just have to hang in here, a couple outs and we're back in.
Okay, coming into the batter's box now, number 6, center field, Wu Chu-Chi. Bases loaded, top of the first. Great scoring position for the Chinese Taipei team.
Well, now, for those of you at home who don't watch much softball, now a walk, which is 4 balls, would mean an automatic run. All right, if she walks this girl, the runner on 3 walks home, and everyone advances a base. And I think that would be the end of the pitcher on the mound, too. We would get a substitute. And she knows it. Good pitch, lass. This is her first World Series. Tall, thin girl. Come on, Oz. I say that for a lot of reasons. One is that you want a game to be tight, especially with 2 equal teams. Fly ball, she'll catch that. Oh, yes, it's in foul. Foul ground, she had caught it. There was no... Had tag up at 3. Anita Palm in right field was very indecisive. She'll be breathing. As we see off the bat here, it's a late swing, chopped down on it. Now watch Anita. She's in some doubt. She doesn't know how fast to run. She's left it too late. She has to dive, and bless her little socks, she caught it.
Okay, that's Anita Palm. She's made the out, and now we go to Swang Jin Che, the shortstop, with 2 outs, top of the first, and runners on 1, 2, and 3. It's a full house, and they didn't score. And that's inside. Now, that's where the pitches should be going, Marshall. That last one sliced out the right field was outside pitch, which is silly if they're standing in too close.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You need to jam them at the moment.
Swang Jin Che.
What Australia need here is a strikeout, but we're just talking about Australia. Taipei should score here. I mean, they're pumped up there. They were in the finals of the last World Series. They lost to China yesterday. There it is. That'll score 1. But that's all they... No, they won't.
They got out because the out was taken on first, so the Chinese did not score. Li Mei came down to home plate, but the Aussies made the out in time, and so have kept Chinese Taipei shut out at the end of the top of the first innings. But that was an impressive start by Chinese Taipei. This is Kelly Loughman. So now the Chinese Taipei team are in the field, and Australia are in at bat, and Julie Crudginton is the top of the order, and Julie is shortstop, and look how she's batted in the game against Zimbabwe, which was their previous outing. But again, Marshall Seifert, we have to be wary of that, because that Zimbabwe team is heading for, I think, pretty well the bottom of this league here.
Well, a lesser man would say they were the Pits.
Wow. Okay, Julie Crudginton from shortstop. And on the mound for the Chinese Taipei is Liao Meiying.
Well, we must say here, Keith, that was some bad softball by Taipei, and this is a team that plays about 5 days a week. What happened was on that catch in right field, just fouled off. A check swing fouled off down the right field line. And well caught. And
having a lot of fun over there in the bleachers, I think they...
Yeah,
and they're having a lot of fun down there, a lot of high spirits, getting into the ball game. The big crowd here again today for the playing of the 6th World Women's Softball Championships in Auckland, New Zealand.
Here's another foul. Let's see if this one will be caught. Coming down. Oh, piece of cake.
That's 2 out of 2. They're catching 1,000 over there.
Gee,
poor return, though.
He made it look so easy. Yeah, what I was saying, and we'll probably speak about it a fair bit in this game because I think it's going to be tight, is that when the girl dove for the catch in right field, even though she was in foul ground, the runner at 3 could have tagged up. And it is basic bad softball that girl didn't score from third base. The score should be 1-0 Taipei, Australia. And if the game is as close as I imagine it will be, that very bad basic error that was made by Taipei could have a big bearing in this game.
Okay. Now you see the Australians warming up. Leanne Evans, number 14, down there, just by their dugout. So they're maybe going to have an early change to pitcher. Once again, Julie Crudginton. It's another catch.
Another catch, and I think we got it on camera, too. That was a terrific catch. They're 3 for 3 in the stand. The spectators have a little course of training, of course, out in the lot before we let them in here.
Okay, Julie Crudginton keeps fouling them out. She's the top of the order, bottom of the first for the Australians.
Well, that was with the girl staring her down. Look at that. Look at that. Look, she didn't like that pitch one little bit.
So it's full count against Crudginton, the Australian shortstop, top of the order here.
Yes, got to walk. That's exactly what you want at this stage of the ball game, Oz. That was bad news for Taipei. This is a terrible pitch.
Let's do it!
So Julie Crudginton walks to first base, and up comes number 11, second in the order, Jane Stevens, center field.
Janne Stevens, the big policewoman from Oz, 31 years young, a lot of experience. Now, will the steal be on? How strong is the arm of the catcher from Chinese Taipei? Stay tuned.
Shea Huai is the catcher. There she is.
Good bunt. Good bunt. They'll only get one. Good sacrifice. Ooh, good throw down to 2. They don't laugh, joke, and fool around. As soon as the out was made at 1, she rocketed the ball down to 2.
The bunt from Stevens, and watch for Crudginton running from first to second.
Yep, here we go. That was a very good bunt. Exactly what New Zealand did not do in the first day of the champs here. Look at that throw down to 2. If she'd just been fooling around at all on 2, she would have been history. So that's a good sacrifice. Now what they need is a good hit through the infield, and could be problems for Taipei.
Okay, Joyce Lester, another very experienced Australian international, the catcher.
And a character of the very highest order.
Well, she's got her teammate Julie Crudginton. You see her up there on second, behind Liao Meiying, the Chinese Taipei pitcher.
Good high rise. Yes, if they gave out Queen's honors for characters, Lester would be on the top of the list. As you can tell by that smile, this is a hard case, ladies and gentlemen, and a very good softball player.
One out, then a 2 outs.
Well, Taipei thought that was a strike.
1 out. Okay, let's get it right. 1 out, bottom of the first innings.
Yep. Which means there's a lot of options open here. There can be a sacrifice down to 3. There can be a bunt attempt to get safe. But what the Aussies will go for, they play it straight up and down. It's just a good bang, safe hit. That's it. It's bobbled. It's dropped. Whoa, what action and what bad luck, because that hit was labeled through. And the girl at third base, who must have phenomenal reactions. Just look at this off the bat. Smack, and that's a lot of weight behind that. Line to the girl. She dropped the ball, but she was in such excellent position. The girl at 2 thought the ball had been caught and made a huge dive back in. But good play. But that ball was nailed. They can hit this pitcher, Keith. Both teams have shown that they can hit their opposing pitchers. Now, they still need that single to score that run at 2.
Okay, Jill Johnson, who also batted 1,000 against Zimbabwe in the previous game. There she is, the player who plays with a mouth guard. And she's in against Liao Meiying. High in the air, out to left field. Ye Mei Shou to make the catch. Retires the Australians at the bottom of the first. There she is, number 19, Ye Mei Shou. And at the end of the first innings, no score, Chinese Taipei and Australia. And this is the plate umpire, John Eager from Christchurch, who went to the World Youth Softball Championships in Fargo, North Dakota last year. He would have seen this Chinese Taipei team win the girls' final up there, when the New Zealand men also won the youth final. In fact, he umpired the final with Chinese Taipei in that final. So he would have seen 6 or 7 of this Chinese Taipei team in action up there in the what is it, Marshall? The Dark Hills, is it?
The Black Hills.
The Black Hills.
The Black Hills of North Dakota.
Is that where Johnny Appleseed came from?
No. They had a lot of great Indian wars out there. Not that they were great Indian wars. That's a good hit, by the way. Oh, you got it! Now, that's a very rare out. That's an out at first base by a right fielder. And the amount of times you see it tried, but it is almost, look at that grin, it is almost never successful.
Sonny Sin is the batter.
She must have been slow out of the box here, Keith. See, she's playing in short. Anita Palm rockets that ball. Look, but she had her by a couple of meters there. Maybe the girl pulled a hamstring or something, so got stuck getting out of the box.
Okay, Shi Hui is in the batter's box now. That she is the catcher. Shi Hui.
But I've got to say here, Keith, I like, sad to admit it, but the way these girls are batting, it's like a shooting gallery out there. I like your chances, but I still think Oz can rise to the occasion. That a girl. I don't know if she's going to sort of hang around here. If they get these good flat hits like that, we might see her replaced on the mound. But whoa, my goodness! There goes the bat. That's embarrassing. Watch this now. She's smiling. As we see in the replay, she fakes the bunt, takes a swing, and the bat misses the ball. But away went the bat.
Come on, let's do it.
Oh, good strikeout. That a girl. Now, they needed that. That's a good adrenaline booster. As we see here, once again, long handle, fakes it, just looks to chop the ball down. It was a rise ball in the outside corner. Good stuff.
Okay, Jenny Lisle. She gave up a lot of hits in the previous inning, but she's doing all right here in the second. This is Ye Li Tse. She's the right fielder. Number 9 is Jenny Lisle. This is Ye Li Tse.
There's a pop-up, but it's well caught. I thought it was up over the top. Well, the Aussies will be very pleased about that, because that's what we call 3 up, 3 down. Exactly what didn't happen in that first inning.
So now we're at the end of the first innings, and Chinese Taipei and Australia still at 0-0.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the man of the moment, Steve Jackson, New Zealand hurler, who said in the press recently that he, in the provincial champs, that he had targeted a couple of batters, and they're asking for his head. I think he said a well-known fact, and I think that's what journalism is all about. I say, good on you, Steve. Maybe not for doing it, but for saying that why you did it. And now it's up to everybody. They can discuss it, and life will go on from there.
Okay, this is the Australians' designated hitter, Sally McDermid, who leads off here in the bottom of the second innings.
Now, these Australians bat well. It's not unlike the Dutch team that we saw play the other day. They're straight up, good flat bats.
See Jackson there in the background. He's got a good view.
Yep. He's a fascinating sportsman, Steve Jackson. He's one of a kind.
Ian String is also here day in, day out in this tournament. Marshall. Oh, there's a wow. Hit Sally on the leg.
Oh, boy. It's amazing how few swear words these softballers know. As that really hurt.
So this is Liao Mei on the pitcher's mound, and this one goes straight to the left leg of Sally McDermid.
Well, it's interesting talking about targeting
targeting
a batter, because if you want to hit a batter, you don't throw at their head, because it's almost impossible to hit anybody in the head, because your brain reacts so fast. You find you're lying down in the sand or the dirt, and life goes on. But you aim for the high leg or the hip. The instinct is to turn your body, and then you get it in the kidneys. So if you want to hit a batter, that's where you throw it, in the high thigh or the lower back.
Okay. In the batter's box for Australia now, Jane Farlie, the left fielder. You can see that she had a happy time against Zimbabwe as well. 3 hits out of 3. We're in the bottom of the second innings.
There, she's got her. They'll nail her. Oh, don't stop. Here we go. She'll run. Good stuff.
Well, maybe Sally McDermid couldn't really run because of that blow she took on the leg, but she was well and truly caught in between the bases and tagged out.
Well, let's see. Now, there was a lot of indecision. Oh, good outside pitch. Caught her off the bag. Then she ran. She stopped. Now, what you do in this rundown, as soon as the player throws the ball, you try and hit him if you're the runner. Okay? In this case, it's a great sprint here. Look at that. And gets her on the backside. Yes, hopefully they've got some ice at the moment in that dugout, because where she got hit with the ball, it would be internal bleeding. In fact, I can see down there at the moment, and he's wrapping on a tight... Oh, there... Oh, no, that's not hot stuff. What in heaven's name are they putting on there?
Ice.
Is it ice? Oh, thank goodness. I mean, it goes back a ways. I remember, you know, a few years ago in New Zealand that we would do things like that, or a magic bit of water or something like that. But what's happening there is that when the ball hits the thigh like that, it starts some bleeding inside, and to have them run straight after that gets more and more. If you don't do anything about it, you can get a hematoma out of it. But they're doing everything right, and then I would apply a tight bandage onto that area.
Okay, this is Jane Farlie still in the batter's box. That's up, and it's going to be right field. Lead 2 makes the out, and that's 2 down. Number 7, Lead 2, away in right field. Okay, so this is Kelly Loughman now coming into the batter's box. You'll see her come in. Here she is. Just one turn at bat so far for a hit against Zimbabwe.
Incidentally, there are sides here who've even brought a doctor. This is the world champs here. You know, this is very high quality sport.
So 17-year-old Kelly Loughman gets a hit out to center field, where Wu Chu Chi makes the out to retire Australia. So at the bottom of the second innings, Chinese Taipei and Australia still locked at 0-0. So the big crowd enjoying the ton of action we're seeing here from Chinese Taipei and Australia. And this is the top of the third inning. And no score. The Chinese Taipei team go back to the top of the order. This is Wu Yu Jin, the third base, and Jenny Lisle. That is popped straight to third base, Kylie Rusting, and there's the out taken. So number 2, Kylie Rusting, takes that simple out. Here it is again from Wu Yu Jin, just straight up in the air, really, and third base had it covered all the way.
Incidentally, we've seen her here in New Zealand before. She's only 16 years old, Kylie. She came with a club team from Melbourne, and I thought she was outstanding then, and it's good to see her on this Australian team, but she's only 16 years old.
That's Kylie Rusting from third base, and into the batter's box comes number 4, Lee May. Now, she took a walk, remember, a long turn in the batter's box, and she was the one that really indicated to us first how they were crowding up on the plate. And here at a second turn of bat, Marshall, she's still right up against that batting box line.
Yep, she is. I must admit, when I batted, I used to get as far away from it as possible. rise ball of John Dawson was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. But look at this girl. She's leaning right over the strike zone. In other words, you could legally aim at her head. All right? The way she's bending over there, the around her neck is still in the strike zone.
Keep it going. Come on.
What do you think of that?
That's right. That's well, she's easily to target then, isn't she?
Well, I mean, you don't even need to do it. You just throw a high strike, and if she doesn't get her head out of the way, that's tough luck.
Center field, Jane Stevens makes the out.
When we say a target, it's usually what we call a duster, which is just sort of moving the batter back. It's putting the batter a little bit off their stride. So, you know, it's very rare that you throw it to intentionally hit someone, because for one reason they are able to get an automatic base.
Okay, this is Janne Show, second turn at bat in this ball game.
Woo! Well,
that's one over the top. But look, she's embarrassed.
She is. I mean, you would have needed a couple of ladders to get a swing at that one.
The batter, Janne Show, is just 18 years of age, so she'd be one of the ones who went to Fargo, North Dakota, and won the Women's World Youth Softball Series, the same series that New Zealand won the men's.
And she looks it. Look at that confidence. Boy, that's 18 years of experience.
Marshall, I wonder what the thoughts are for sending a New Zealand women's team to that youth series sometime.
Well, I don't think we have done it in the past, so I guess it's about time we did. At the moment, we hold 3 titles, which I must say I don't think we'll ever do again. And I think everybody at home is starting to realize now. There's a little pop fly down to first base.
And Gillian Johnson makes the out to retire the Chinese Taipei team at the top of the 3rd innings. So we're coming out now for the bottom of the 3rd at still no score. Well, certainly a very picturesque scene over the outfield fence here at Lion Red Ballpark in Mangere. The sun umbrellas out, the picnics, and that's them at the back there you see right around. And that's a very pleasant place to be on a nice warm Auckland afternoon. It's not too hot, certainly not as hot as it's been in other days of the recent weeks in this city. So we're in the bottom of the 3rd, and here is Anita Palm. She's listed in the program as right fielder. It gives her age as 20 years of age, unemployed it says also. So she's obviously in this full time at the moment, as the out is taken by Sui Tsun from first base, and that retires Anita Palm. There it is. Pretty comfortable out for Sui Tsun. The only thing, of course, is the sun. You see the shadow underneath her. And here's the pitcher, Liao Mei. Next into the batter's box is Kylie Rusting from third base. This is the 16-year-old. She's fouled off. Just a word about those World Series, Marshall. Apparently it was passed at the last annual general meeting. I've just been told that New Zealand will send a youth team to the next Women's World Youth Softball Series, wherever that may be.
Well, that's good news. That'll mean that we'll have a team competing in a World Series every year. It's going to be expensive, but you know, with the level of our softball, we just have to go. In other words, they hold them all on alternate years. So one year it's this, and the next year it's that. But it'll mean that, in theory anyway, that every year we'll have a team competing somewhere in the world in a World Series.
Okay, Kylie Rusting. We're in the bottom of the 3rd innings. No score yet between Australia and Chinese Taipei.
Oh, good cut. Good cut. She's good, this Rustin. I mean, she missed the ball, but despite her age, I'd say she deserves to be there.
Very sturdily built 16-year-old Kylie Rusting from Melbourne.
Good hit. Good hit. Crack right down the left field line. Woo, one of the softballers of the future. Incidentally, got to say, Australia, as well as spending all this dough at the Institute there, these girls have had a tour of China, too. So here, watch this now. Bang! That's a terrific hit. Just rocketed down that left field line. Yermei So out there. picks it up. But both pitches are being hit. As we said at the start, we've got a very even game of softball, and that always makes for excitement. Good bunt, but foul. When I say good bunt, she was out of the blocks well, and she held the bat in front. Her final execution was not good. However, and I'm going to get back to this because this is where we were very weak that first day, New Zealand did not do that. The bat was in an incorrect position half the time. We weren't out of the blocks quickly, and it's something that we really have to do to lift our game at the moment.
Julie Crudginton back to the top of the order for Australia.
Oh, it's over the top. She'll be safe down at 2. That's just the break the Aussies needed now. That's a good point. We're at the top of the order now.
Kylie Rusting on second.
Well. Well, she's just had the quiet word from the coach, and I love to see a smile involved in it, too. The Aussies do play oh, good. That's a good bunt. That's a good sacrifice, and they just got her at 1. If she'd just been out of that box a little bit faster, but it's a good sacrifice.
Well, the sacrifice is that the bunt goes down, and away went Crudginton to first. She was out at first, but look how Rusting advances to third.
And look at that. She was out of the blocks very well and ran very fast down to 1. No, must have been a very quick throw to get her. The Aussies are doing everything right at the moment. There she is.
This is 16-year-old Kylie Rusting on third, and coming into the batter's box, Jane Stevens, the very experienced center field.
They'll get her. They'll get her. Good out. Good out. But Taipei will take a big sigh of relief out of that, and the Aussies will be pumped up.
So at the bottom of the third innings, an exciting play between these two teams, but the score remains the same. Chinese Taipei 0, Australia 0. So coming up first into the batter's box at this innings in the top of the 4th is the designated hitter, and that's Li Yuan-Shei. You see the first name I mentioned is the Y full stop part is Yuan-Shei, and Yi is the first name listed, so it's a little different to the way we list names here. So this is batter number 12, the designated hitter, known her full name, Li Yuan-Shei.
Yes, what it is, Keith, isn't it, is that the surname is the first name in China.
Right. So you say it first, although it's listed there as second. But this is good old stock English colonial stuff, Jenny Lisle. You know where we are. Jenny Lisle from Australia, here on the top of the 4th.
Now, whenever you at home hear that there is what we call a DH into bat, that's when you should lean a little forward in your chair, because that's usually the girl that's in there to get the big hits. The home run batter, or certainly the most reliable batter in all of that country. This girl here, if she's the DH for Taipei, she would probably be the best batter in all of China Taipei.
Okay, that was a strike from Lisle. 2-2 the count from plate umpire John Egar.
Incidentally, the New Zealand girl who's our DH is just batting so outstandingly well at the moment. Oh, well, how did she fool her on that? That was a drop. Totally fooled the batter. Watch this. She swung at a ball that would have hit the ground before it got there. Watch this now. This is a real drop. Oh, my goodness gracious. She couldn't have hit that with a 9-iron.
Okay, that's a strikeout for Jenny Lisle from Australia. That's her first, in fact. Now into the batter's box is center field, Wu Chu Chi.
Okay, well, at the moment, Oz have gone on top from a shocking start. they've had a runner in what we call scoring position twice now. She's starting to pitch, and whether it was just nerves at the start, but she looked ordinary.
Oh, they must have been worried, Marshall, because they didn't warm up Leanne Evans down there in the, well, it's not the bullpen, but it's down there in the outfield. And so they must have been concerned about Jenny Lisle after that poor beginning.
Yes, it's called the heifer pen. No, we should just explain that. By the way, at baseball, they have a period they call the bullpen where they warm up. It's usually out in the outfield there, and so that's where the term. It's a baseball term, and it means an area where a pitcher warms up. Foul back. The game has just hit that sort of indecisive period now. If you remember at the start of this game, I said there was a shocking play by Taipei and the girl at third not tagging up and scoring that run. And the way it's shaping up now, Oz is getting on top here.
Okay, a ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes against Wu Chu Chi.
Oh. 3-2.
Okay, so now you hear the voice of John Egar, the plate umpire, and it's leveled up now with 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's John Egar.
Push it in.
Good pitch. Great rise ball. That is sweet. Boy, would she be pleased. She's starting to hum now. Look at that smile. Yeah, now watch this now. Good full body, nice little rise ball straight over the bat. And remember that we taught Australia how to pitch not that long ago either.
That's right. They took 2 of New Zealand's leading pitchers across there to the Australian Institute of Sport. And the New Zealanders coached the leading Australian players, leading Australian pitchers. And here's Jenny Lisle with 2 strikeouts in a row there. Coming onto a game after a shaky start. Remember, the bases were loaded in the first innings, and Australia crawled out of that hole. This is the shortstop, Swang Jin Che, number 17. Lots of vocal encouragement for Jenny Lisle. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. No score in the ball game. Okay, 2 balls and a strike against Chung Jun Che.
Well, there's just been a little cloud go over the sun. It's been very, very hot out there at the moment. Good pitch. They're crowding that plate. Girls are just standing there. She's starting to hum, this girl. Look, the way she is throwing now, any side would be a bit on the back foot. And when you think how she started off, it's quite a surprise.
The change, Marshall, she's now starting to pitch inside much more. They are crowding the plate, so she's pitching inside. They can't slice them off into the outfield, to the right outfield. And so it's now full count on Chuang Chin Che from Jenny Lisle here in the top of the 4th. No score in the ball game yet.
It's hit, yes, right over the top. They'll have to hurry. Oh, great throw. Oh, what a great little wristy flick by the second base girl there. Well done, Miss Loughman.
Kelly Loughman makes the out. Bounced over Lyle's head, but watch for second base Kelly Loughman. She comes in, and this is a super fast turnaround and throw.
Look at that. That would make Bruce Edgar proud. I tell you, that was great stuff.
And a big stretch there from Gillian Johnson makes the out. So at the end of the top of the fourth. It's still 0-all.
Okay, and there we see the flag out there. What it's showing, actually, is one, that there's a breeze, and the other that it's straight behind the girls on the mound. So any sort of spin that the girls have, any altering of a pitch is in their favor at the moment. Okay, so if you're going to use various throws, the advantage is with you because the wind is behind you. Got that out.
Okay, in the batter's box now, the Australian catcher, Joyce Lester. These are now game statistics you're seeing here. So she didn't get a hit at the previous turn at bat. Bottom of the fourth, no score. Number 23, Liao Meiying, the Chinese Taipei pitcher. That's 1 strike and a ball.
Yes, there she is now. She's behind the 8 ball a little here. They're not getting the outs as easy as the Australians are, and having Lester first up is bad news. She's a very experienced softballer, a teacher of primers, and I bet she'd be a delightful team. Good hit! Good hit! Cracks it out into left field. Exactly the start the Australians wanted. And we'll see on the replay here that she cracks it out to Yirmei Shaw out in left field there, just smack. Once again, immaculate fielding, body down. Look at that. But look at Joyce. She is smiling. This could be it. This could be the innings. The way that she's shaping up, she's going to be a 1-0 ball game. And now this girl has to do sacred. Now, remember, the Aussies play it straight up and down. We'll see a bunt laid down here and Joyce off to 2.
Okay, this is Gillian Johnson in the batter's box. You see the pie pad for sliding. She's attached to her legs so that they're on the gritty surface of the dust and dirt and lime that makes up the infield. She won't skid too badly on that surface.
Well, she's a big batter, but I still think the Aussies are going to use a bunt.
So what Liao Meiying pitching on the outside here, Marshall?
Well, if she's going to bunt, no, what you want to do really is go sort of low and inside. You don't want her to get that bat out in front. Oh, she's going for the big hit. She struck out, and that is bad softball. That is bad, and she knows it. Look at that face. You, at this level in a world championship, to put a girl on 1 and not move her down to 2 is bad.
Okay, here's where you said you lean forward a bit, Marshall, because the Australian designated hitter, Sally McDermid, in the batter's box now.
Well, but unfortunately, she's only got a girl on 1 to deal with, whereas she would have been in scoring position. A hit would have possibly scored Joyce Lester.
Remember, she was hit last time on the leg and limped off to first.
Yep, I think she's got a bandage around there now. But yeah, well, this is this could let the air out of the balloon if the Aussies get a runner on, first girl up, and then do nothing. But the girl on the mound is nervous. Did you see that little knee bend there? She's quite anxious at the moment. This is where they're a little bit weak. Their fielding is immaculate. We've seen how well they can bat, but they're not really as strong as they were at the last World Series with the girls on the mound. And I think we're seeing now what? If she walks this girl, then all the good work of the last strikeout is wiped off.
Okay, that's 3 balls against Sally McDermid, the Australian designated hitter.
Oh, now, Keith, now this is fascinating. Here you have your power batter in. Now, you know the girl on the mound has to throw a good strike. Do you let this girl go for the home run and the big hit, or do you say, no, let's wait for the walk? That was waiting for the walk. See that bluff bunt? And that pitch was right down the gut. So if they'd said, okay, dear, have a rip, it would have been up against the fence. Oh, look at that.
The previous one looked as though it was should have been meat and drink for her.
Yep.
Okay, it's full count now against Sally McDermid.
And the batter has walked away. She's just taking a few practice swings. Look, to get a runner on first up in a game as tight as this at the World Champs and then not move her on is dynamite, and this girl knows it.
Oh, she's walked. And that advances Joyce Lester around a second. So the Australians looking good here now as Jane Farlie, number 4, comes into the batter's box.
Well, here we go. You can see a meeting out there of Taipei. There's another one. There's everyone's having meetings at the moment because this is really the crunch time. This is when Briley decides to buy Air New Zealand. You know, this is when she's all on here at the moment. Everyone wants to have a meeting.
Yeah, but that Chinese Taipei one's a committee meeting, Marshall. Nothing will be decided.
I don't know if they're going to get consensus. All I know is that they've got big problems out there because Australia are right on top at the moment. And the girl, after throwing a good strike, throws a walk, which shows she is nervous. Here she is, getting a little hype. Okay, last time in, she got a good hit. This is what legends are made of. Ooh, and just about a wild pitch. Now, why are we looking at a sacrifice bunt here? We just might see it. I think there could be a sacrifice bunt on here by Farlie, just to advance those two runners. I don't know. I might be just inclined to bat away because a good hit would score that runner, but we'll see. Yes, sacrifice bunt. It's a good one. They'll only get the one runner. Oh, and it's errant. Here comes the run. That's what World Series are all about. It just happens like that. You can be some of the best fielders in the world, as Chinese Taipei is. You put enough pressure on, and you blink. You just blink, and all of a sudden, it's gone. Joyce Lester, one of life's great characters, scores. And here's the replay. Look at this bunt. Brings it down, and that is a sweet bunt. Just sweet. The girl knew she had to, no, in fact, she did really need to hurry it. Oh, the girl was late from 2. That's what happened. The girl was ready to throw, and the girl from 2 was too late getting over. And I bet they play this here. Here comes Joyce, and she'll be through. But the fault then was not with the pitcher. It was an easy out at first base, only the girl from second base was late getting there.
Okay, Kelly Loughman in the batter's box now. Australia up 1-0. They're still trying to bunt.
Okay.
Only one out.
Yeah.
Here in the bottom of the 4th. So Joyce Lester scored. Sally McDermid is around to second. And Jane Farlie, Sally McDermid around to third. Jane Farlie up there on second. One out here in the bottom of the 4th innings. Australia 1, Chinese Taipei 0. "17 years old, Mr. Student in the batter's box at the moment with all the pressure of the World Series honour. And Australia in a good position now. Here's Kelly Loughman.
Well, they'll feel that they'll need an extra run here at the moment.
Yes, he's going to disciplining himself very well in the box, watching carefully the balls and the strikes.
Okay. They'll feel that they'll need an extra run on here, and it certainly is on the card. Now, with the girls from Taipei have been put on the back foot. They've done something that they don't normally do. They've made an infield error. Instead of supporting the girl in the mound who had the ball in time, they have made an error. Now, one run, it's only the 4th innings. They can get that back. But if Australia score again, I think this game is history.
So there's a walk, so the bases now are loaded. Kelly Loughman, the little redhead, goes out to first. Looking around a second, we've got Jane Farlie up on second. And over to third on the right, we've got Sally McDermid, and the pitcher goes out of the ball game. Liao Meiying, number 23, is taken out of the ball game, and coming in now is Chang Chen Chin.
Well, I'm not surprised there because it's one thing to not be throwing well. It's something else to look nervous, and her body movements were those of someone who is tense. Anybody can throw badly, but when you look tense, that's a good time to get someone else out there.
Okay, this is number 3, Chun Cheng Chinling. And she's much more experienced at 26 years of age than the previous pitcher, who's just 19.
But having said this, to come in the world champs with only 1 out, bases loaded, and a fired-up Australian team, you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy.
Okay, and Anita Palm comes into the batter's box. She hasn't been batting well, so the pressure's on her now.
Good pitch, good pitch. I bet she wishes she had that back. That was right, sweet pitch. Now, all right, to play things straight up, when you're in like that, it's very easy to give up a walk, see, like that, and a walk means a run. So the coach obviously has advised the batter, make absolutely sure it's a strike before you have a swing. Because everyone at home sort of understand that if she throws a walk here, it's an automatic run. So the batter is not going to swing at anything that isn't absolutely a strike. See what I mean? The pressure that's on that girl out there is intense.
Okay, it's 2 balls and 1 strike against the Australian batter, Anita Palm, and this is the new pitcher, Chun Cheng Chinling from Chinese Taipei. We're in the bottom of the 4th, and Australia leading 1-0, but the bases are loaded. They've got a royal chance of adding to that.
Yep.
3-1.
Okay, this pressure's on the new pitcher here with 3 balls now, and the bases are loaded. Are they going to walk 1 home?
I don't know. If it comes down the guts, it'll be tempting to take a swing, and she did, everything wrong. The one thing she should not have done was swing under the ball. In other words, if the ball's hit down on the deck, chances are you're going to get a run. But the last thing you want is to what we call pop the ball up. And Li Mei at second base, as we'll see here, had made no doubts about that. Swung underneath the ball, knew it at the time. Li Mei, who is getting a little bit back after making that terrible error of judgment. It won't be an error in the book. Anyway, here's the young girl, 16 years old. Bases are loaded. How would you go?
Remember, she got on last time, Marshall, with a hit to center field. Kylie Rusting.
It was a very good hit, a good flat hit. And, I mean, she's a winner. We saw that the last time she was out here in New Zealand. She'll probably actually, despite her age, be enjoying this. But you wouldn't want to be that girl on the mound. She's having no fun.
Well, it was a big test for Kylie Rusting last time she came to bat, but this is the real pressure now of international sport. With the bases loaded, your team just 1 up, and a chance to put them way out in front.
Well,
looks pretty cool, Marshall, the way she steps away, reconsiders the situation, comes back in again.
she's a classy lady. I think she even caught when she was out here with her club side, so I think she can play a variety of positions.
She steps back again.
16 years old at a World Series is, although we saw it with Mark Sorensen that you can do it, but they're pretty rare people. Here's a hit, but it'll be fall in. Shortstop under, makes the catch.
Jan Chin-chi makes the out, and the Chinese Taipei's anxious moments are over. Zhang Chin-chi, and at the end of the 4th innings, Australia leading by 1-0. Jenny Lisle. The first out being taken by Kelly Loughman across there at second base. She's having a good game. And the first Chinese Taipei batter is out. It was Su Yi Tsun who is out, and coming in next is Shea Hui.
Come on, let's keep talking. Keep pushing it.
Well,
She was struck out last time, so Australia in a good position here in the game with the score on the board. And this is Shea Hui.
well, from here on out, the ball game all revolves around that tall girl there, number 9. If Lisle can continue with the good work she's done over the last few innings, this will be a big win for Australia, a very important win for Australia. At the same time, the Aussies have 5 girls out in right field having a warm-up, so they know that any sort of easing of any of their players, and you'll see subs on there. In other words, the Australians are pulling out all stops here at the moment. They really want this win. Oh, my God, and that's the sort of nerves that can take over the world champion. Did you see that? She had one that went a million miles in the air, and that one got about halfway to the plate and thumped down. If you're going to waste a pitch, that's a good time to do it.
Shea Hui in the batter's box.
Incidentally, just hold that shot for a minute, because the outfield is so in. All 3 outfielders and the infield are all batting, are all in. Now they've just moved back a little bit. No, the outfielders haven't moved back. Right. A big hit would, well, even a medium hit would go over the head of these outfielders. This girl obviously is not a big hitter, although she's going what we call full handle on the bat. She's very short, but it's shocking how far in those outfielders are, given that it's a 1-0 ball game. Lisle is relying a lot on her drop ball, and it's going quite well at the moment, except for that one that bounced about halfway down. Oh, good pitch. Good pitch. That's exactly what the Aussies needed. It's 2 down, isn't it?
Okay, Jenny Lisle continues the good form that she's come up to. That's her 3rd strikeout in the ball game. And my word, she started off very shaky indeed. And I think they used to call it the collie wobbles in Australia. But by my word, after that opening innings when the Taipei had the bases loaded, she's come right.
Yeah, I thought she was history just in that first inning there, but she's hung in there.
They did too, Marshall. Remember, we saw them warming up their other pitchers, so they must have been close to making the decision to take her out. They are warming up Leanne Evans down there again, but I'd be surprised, wouldn't you, if they took her out now?
Oh, yeah, I think all they're saying, the whole squad, even where they're playing, is that, okay, this has now become a very important game, that we've got the advantage of 1 run, which is really all you need at a World Champs. If you get 1 up, then you just pull out all stops to protect that run. But the Aussies are saying, we'll have someone nice and warm if you do start to throw a bit wildly. And remember, it's very hot out there today.
This is Ye Li Tzu, the right fielder, right at the bottom of the batting order here and the top of the 5th innings.
Oh, good pitch. Completely fooled. I don't know if that was a rise or what, but the girl missed it by a lot. Plus, it was an awkward swing, which happens when you're really fooled by a pitch. Not sure if it was a changeup or what, but she seemed to, yeah, I think it was a changeup. She really fooled the batter. That's an interesting thing we saw.
Look at the grip on the bat here.
Yes, well, that's actually, I can remember doing that. When you get a couple of strikes on you, yes, good overcall by the shortstop. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. And the Aussies, they'll be really pleased. Look at them there. You can just feel.
And at the end of the top of the 5th, Australia still leading by 1 run to 0. So the lady that made the out at the end of the bottom of the 5th is first up into the batter's box as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And this is Julie Crudginton.
Okay, now let's see if the Aussies can continue the advantage that they've got here. That's a good line shot down the right field line. What is very interesting is that since the first innings where Australia did badly in the field, they've had their opposing team 3 up and 3 down ever since, and they're starting to bat. So the impetus is really with Australia at the moment, Keith. I don't like your chances on our bet. That was how much? $10.
We'll wait and see. It's a long week, Marshall. Incidentally, here about Julie Crudginton's statistics here, you see that she's got a lot of noughts across the bottom there. That's because the first couple of times at bat in the ball game, she's either bunted or sacrificed, and so they don't count in her statistics. Let's have a look at the call now from Eager. 2 and 2 on Julie Crudginton, the shortstop, as Australia lead over Chinese Taipei, who are runners-up in the World Series in 1982 on their home turf in Taiwan. And there is Crudginton. She's history this time.
Yeah, that was a good pitch.
And the pitcher, Chun Chen Chinling, takes her first strikeout.
Work it hard, Steve-O. You can do it.
Okay, well, let's see if she can start to get on top here. Remember, it's only the 5th. And it's only 1-0.
Do it in here.
Low, strike zone, remember, shoulders to knees. And that's low from Chung Chen Chinling.
You can do it.
Let's just see now. These Aussies, there's a good hit, but perfectly placed in the outfield. That was a cracker. Okay, Year May show out in left field. It was perfectly placed. Now, if she was in as shallow as some of those Australian outfielders, she might have had a problem with that one. Not that she's playing deep by any means. That's still quite shallow, but perfectly placed.
Okay, here's Joyce Lester. Now, she had a hit the previous time. So she's one of Australia's big batters, and she scored, if you remember rightly, Marshall.
She'll never let us forget that. That was a big run, and if they can hang on, it'll be a very important win for Australia. Remember, there are 7 teams here that are near equal. So who makes that top 4 will be decided by games like this. Okay, Joycey, let's see if you can get a hit. Foul back, protecting the plate.
1-2.
Here we go now. Well, I could see a big hit happening here. We haven't had a big hit in a while. Either that or I was going to say a strikeout, but I didn't want to put the spoilers on her.
So that's the second strikeout for Chung Chen Chinling, the substitute pitcher who's come into the game. And at the end of the 5th innings, it's Australia 1, Chinese Taipei 0. And since that first inning, when the Chinese Taipei had the bases loaded but couldn't score, their batters have gone 3 up and 3 down against the pitching of Jenny Lisle. So here in the batter's box as we lead off, the top of the 6th is number 11, Wu Yu Jin. And here's another one straight to Kelly Loughman, who makes the out. And Australia stay in the ball game with the lead and with the much more positive play. Now, Marshall, this Australian team, as we watch the out here taken by Kelly Loughman, they're starting to look like winners here.
Well, Australia are like us, really. This is the season. I mean, the Aussies actually even play in the winter as well. But for them, you know, they've had lots of good practice. So we're seeing at the moment that they actually have an edge over these sides from up north, and I think that's showing in this game. As we said at the start of this game, this one was tight. You wouldn't get a lot of views around the ground as to who's going to win this game. The Australians started off nervous, as you should, against a side that was in the final of the last World Series. But then once they got themselves under control, you could see it was going to be a 1-0 ball game. There's a good fly ball out to Farlie in left field. 1 up, 1 down, and that's exactly what the Aussies had needed. Now, what they need is a lot of enthusiasm and just a good, tight fielding effort, and they'll win this game. What we haven't seen, Keith, is power batters here from Taipei. I mean, we saw in the first innings that they could get good flat hits, but you don't see sort of, you know, big gals striding into the box who could all of a sudden bust the game open. Having said that, that was a good hit, but just a little short again. And you can also see it by how far the outfield is playing in.
So Jane Stevens makes the out to retire the Chinese Taipei team. The hit came from Ye Mei Shou, the left fielder. There's the pitch from Jenny Lisle. There's the fly out to center field. You'll see Jane Stevens getting under it, and it's 3 up and 3 down again for Australia in the field as the score stays the same at the end of the top of the 6th. Australia still in the lead. And as we go into the bottom of the 6th, a new batter brought into the game by Australia as they lead off the bottom of the 6th. It's Linda Martin coming into the ball game.
Linda Martin is a 20-year-old courier. Let's see if she can deliver.
Oh. Gillian Johnson's been replaced by Martin. Johnson is the first base. High and outside. Let's look at that call. 2 strikes and a ball. The second one certainly looked high. It was called a strike.
Good hit, line shot down left field. That's what you do when you're a pinch hitter. Good batting, Linda Martin. That's what I mean, these Aussies have their tails up.
Oh, look at that, look, she was delighted, eh?
Look at this, good, all her body weight in back of the ball. Good balance, cracks the ball down the left field line. Just what you want to lead off the innings. Now, what we haven't seen is sacrifice bunt by Australia. They seem to have batted away, but I'll be surprised here if we don't see one.
Okay.
Oh, he comes, but I think it hit her. Maybe it didn't. If not, it's a good sacrifice. The guy at 2 is yelling dead ball. I don't think it's any of his business myself, but...
That was another pinch hitter there, Martin, with Leanne Binnie.
Hey, I don't know what this guy at 2 is... Yeah, listen to the crowd. They don't like it either.
Johnny Wealth in the United States talking to John Eager of New Zealand. Let's look at this again from Leanne Binnie. Another pinch hitter brought in.
Okay, why I say that is that usually the home plate umpire asks other umps if he is in any doubt about the call, if they had a better view of the ball. I didn't think he asked anybody. I just see this guy come screaming in from 2 and hollering. Obviously, he knows what he saw, and fair enough. But it's quite unusual in New Zealand to see that kind of call.
Okay, this into the batter's box is Jane Farlie.
Now, does everybody understand what happened there? Because she was called out because the ball hit her when she was outside of the batting box. In other words, she laid down her bunt, and it seemed to be bouncing around a bit and actually hit her body. So she was automatically out. You can understand why that is. I mean, on your way down there, you could do a little flicky with the ball and scoot it through the infield.
Linda Martin heading for second, but the out is taken on 1 with the throw to Sui Tsun. And Jane Farlie is out. That's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the replay.
It's a check swing. She tries to hold it back, and all of a sudden sees that it's gone down there to 2, and you know what a good fielder she is.
Okay, Kelly Loughman into bat again on second base. Remember, the pinch hitter, Linda Martin, the first of the 2 pinch hitters, is up now and advanced to second. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
And here we have another one of these very young Australian students. She's only the age of 17. So here she is in the World Series, playing well, and her side is 1 up against the finalist in the last World Series.
Remember, 2 outs.
Oh my goodness. That was a total embarrassment. I don't know what she was attempting to do there. Hopefully she knew what was happening. It might have been a hit and run because the girl at 2 was so far down the track. But then why would she have gone back? I don't know. I guess we won't have a replay of that, but it was very confusing to see what the batter was attempting to do there. Just about a wild one, Keith.
Yep.
We did have that bet. It was $30, wasn't it?
It's going up every time we speak.
Oh, so sorry. Well, let's see here. Digging in. Something could happen. Good pitch, inside corner.
Okay, there's the call. 2 strikes and a ball against Kelly Loughman, with Linda Martin up on second. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th, with Australia up by 1-0 over Chinese Taipei.
Okay, what about a little steal here, just to shake things up a bit? Oz, it's 2 down, you got nothing to lose. Then again, a good hit. Play it a little conservative, and you're up by 2 runs. Guarding the plate. What's the count, by the way?
2-2.
2-2.
Sliced off, and the out will be taken by Sui Tsun at first base, and so the Australian innings at the bottom of the 6th is finished. And the Australian coach, Nancy Whittington, you'll see her coming stumping to the dugout, with Australia at the end of the 6th inning still in the lead at 1-0 over Chinese Taipei. So just 3 outs needed for the game by Jenny Lisle, the Australian pitcher, and the rest of her team. They've played so well since the first innings, and we could be on the verge of a big upset with Australia leading 1-0, and just 3 outs needed to beat the runners-up at the last World Series, Chinese Taipei. So into the batter's box comes number 12, the designated hitter. That's Li Yuangshe. And to follow her, she was struck out last time. To follow her is number 6, Wu Chu Chi. She was also struck out last time. So Chinese Taipei are right up against it at the moment.
Well, that infield is still in, and I would not, when I was guarding a 1-0 lead, keep a center fielder in where that girl is. This is the DH. This girl must be able to get big hits, but the girl out there is pretty shallow. So this is a bit of a gamble that Australia are taking here, because I've got a funny feeling this girl could unleash a big hit. Look at her.
She's the big hitter. She's the designated hitter. She really is going for it.
At this stage of the game, Oz have to have maximum defense. They don't need to have an attacking field when they're up 1-0 at this stage.
Do you think she can hit big with the grip she's got on the bat, though, Marshall?
Well, she probably will move up the bat, as we say, as she gets strikes on her. But she's a solidly built gal, and the fact that she's the DH just spells out that she's got to be a power batter. The line shot. Good pickup from the young 16-year-old at third base. Well done, Miss Rustin.
Kylie Rusting makes the out. A lovely pickup from a hard shot from the designated hitter, Lee Yuan Shea. And look at this pickup and throw.
Here it is. Look at that. Good scoop. Lots of time. Rocket arm gets her by 2 meters. Good stuff, Kylie. She'll be loving it out there. It's very exciting, these young Australians. I mean, to get that sort of experience in the World Series.
Pinch hitter now, Marshall, number 5. They looked at the batting and saw that last time Wu Chu-chi was struck out. So they brought in number 5, Chuang Mei-ju, as a pinch hitter. There she is, Chuang Mei-ju.
Well, Keith, anybody in their lineup who's not playing, who can hit the ball any distance, should be in there at the moment, because these Aussie outfielders are just are not moving back despite the situation. Remember, it's much easier to run in than it is to run back.
Okay, Chen Mei-chu into the batter's box, pinch hitter. 2 outs needed by Australia for the ball game. And the Australians, they had a big one over Zimbabwe in their first game, and they hit it for an upset here. Out to right field. Anita Palm's got it well covered.
Yep.
1 out needed. Number 6, Anita Palm makes the out.
Those outfielders are so perfectly placed, Keith, you see. Okay, that just slewed off the bat, but because the outfield, you can see she didn't even have to move. They're playing in so close that she had caught that. But I'll stick to my guns that you don't risk them in that close at this stage of the game. But well caught, very, very well caught. Incidentally, Keith, I'd say the Australia-New Zealand game is going to be a cracker the way they're looking at the moment.
Okay, possibly the last one in Chuang Jin-che from Chinese Taipei. 1 out needed by Australia for the ball game from Jenny Lisle. She's had 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, there she is, and after each innings, or in between each innings, there's a physio in there that has worked on her arm. So after a terrible start, she's come up trumps. Ooh, good pitch. Pull the chain. Good stuff. Incidentally, it's a great day here. There's lots of spectators, and the tide is in the harbor, and, you know, it's a good scene, isn't it?
Certainly is if you're an Australian right now. 1 out needed for a big upset by Australia.
Yeah, it's a good hit, and she caught it.
Jane Farlie makes the out in left field, and Australia have scored that big upset. But there's the pitcher, Jenny Lisle, who started so badly in the first innings, and she let Chinese Taipei have the bases loaded. But Australia crawled out of that. They scored themselves, and there is a big upset. Australia 1, Chinese Taipei 0. And the young Australian team have beaten the runners-up in the last World Series.